Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of Epic Fantasy Romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Excellent. Today is Monday, June 26th, last week of June. Hope that it's a wonderful June for all of you. I know, it's like here we are, halfway through the year, right? Um, I'm happy with myself, though, making sure I didn't smear my lip pencil there. Do you ever do that? Well, who wear lip pencil look down and like you've got some smudged on your hand, and it's like, oh God, did I just wipe it across my face? So, anyway, I'm very happy with my progress. I had another great writing day on Friday. I hit 3,000 words. So that makes 4 days in a row last week that I got 3,000 words. And I think the only reason I didn't on Monday was because I had to take my husband to a doctor's appointment. So, um, fingers crossed that I will continue to do well this week. Um, Last week was my best word count week for the entire year, and it was my um, fourth best week for the last 2 years. So it's yeah, very happy with my progress on increasing word count, getting that flow back up again, shooting for 3K every day this week, and see if I can sustain that. Um, Book is still going well. Onira, I've passed midpoint, so I'm at about 47,000 words. Uh, Wonder what will happen now. uh, um, Friday evening, the gig with Melinda Snodgrass went great. Quite a few. Excuse me. I sneezed loud enough to make the chimes chime. Uh, yeah, so the event went great. Had some good conversations. Melinda and I are such polar opposites, process wise. It's just kind of funny having those conversations with her and having people ask us about things because Melinda is a huge believer in that she cannot write the story unless she knows how it ends. And of course, she comes out of Hollywood, she comes out of screenwriting, and you have to be able to outline ahead of time. And every once in a while, she'll ask me about that. She'll be like, but you have to know how it ends or you can't write the story. And I'm like, sure you can. You just write from the beginning and you write all the way through. And then when you get to the end, you find out how it ends. She, I want to say that she doesn't believe me, except that I know that she believes me. But I think on some sort of gut deep level, she actually does not believe me. So maybe it's just sometimes it's really hard for us to grok the process of someone else who is not us, someone who has a really different process. It's just, I don't know, maybe on some level we can't believe it because it's just not how it works for us. So, uh, yeah, but it was a fun event. So I was just kind of thinking about some of those things that we talked about at that event. Um, yeah, it was a good day on Friday. I was not too tired out when I finished too, so that was great. And I went and got my hair done. If you're on video, this is really important stuff. See, so far we've talked about makeup, and now we're going to talk about hair. Um, she got it much more red this time, which she needed to do because it wasn't enough last time. But now it's really, really red. It's really that full Irish setter red. So now it needs to lighten up a bit. Lighten up a bit, y'all. So, um, so, um, and otherwise, I did not do much this weekend, which I know is unusual for me. I've been, trying to do better about like taking at least one day of the weekend off. Well, this weekend I took both days off. I know. What has become of me? Uh, yeah, so what happened was Saturday morning, I took David fishing. He wanted to go fishing. So we went to Cochiti. And if you follow me on social media, you'll see that I posted some pictures of Cochiti Lake. It is behind a dam, it's on the Rio Grande. And the snowmelt upstream, because Colorado and Wyoming got record breaking snowpack this year. So Cochiti was flooded, like the restrooms were underwater. It was pretty cool to see. So Saturday we were there for a couple hours, and then David got kind of wiped out. And so we came home, and I thought, well, I'm just going to screw around today, right? Take my day off. And so I went, got some beer, and sat in the grape arbor and read. And so I've been reading Naomi Novik's Scholomance series. I'm probably late to the game on this one, except, well, it's interesting, like who reads which books. It's the first book, A Deadly Education, has like 14,000 reviews on Amazon, because everybody in science fiction fantasy reads it, I guess, and it was a New York Times bestseller and all of these things. Uh, and I kind of want to go back and see if it was nominated for awards that year. I don't think it won any, but I think it's a great concept. It's a really fun set of books. I'm now halfway through the second one, The Last Graduate, and it's kind of a riff on, uh, like the high school, boarding school, school for wizards kind of thing. Only the kids are completely isolated, and there are reasons. Every once in a while, I feel like her world building falters every so slightly, and it's always interesting when I read book two of an author, and I see them backfilling a bit of the world building where people pointed out to them, well, how is this happening? Because like she provides some explanations for some things that I was like, things that I had thought were a little bit not filled in on the first book. And I think that's inevitable. I do it too. Or I do it to explain things that I already knew that I just didn't put on the page. So we could give her credit. Maybe she knew those things and just had to explain them to people. So, yeah, it's a cool premise because the protagonist is struggling against becoming evil. She's basically the has been fated to be the evil queen, and so the magic keeps giving her opportunities to fulfill that role. And she's been raised by a mother who is like so far on the other end of good, and which might be the problem because there's like the magic is always trying to balance out, and so maybe her mother was too good, and maybe her father was too good, and so now she's got to be evil to balance it out again, but she doesn't want to be evil, and so she struggles against it. And so it's really cool because it's an ongoing theme of making friends with people, of building teams, of choosing to collaborate rather than compete. And there's a little bit of a romance, but it's very, I mean, I want to say, okay, I'm just going to say, I get frustrated with Naomi Novik for this reason. I think she's a brilliant writer. I almost always love her books. Um, but I get frustrated with the way that she, I want to say, does not handle romance, because she'll have a romance in there and then she like sucks it dry of emotion. She makes it be like not romantic. And, maybe that's her audience. Um, I don't know. I I don't know. I don't know Naomi. I've met her a couple of times, but I've never had a conversation with her. And I kind of want to ask her about it, except that's one of those questions that's kind of hard to ask. It's like, why do you, I don't want to say suck at romance, but why do you pull back the romance? And maybe she just doesn't find it interesting. But, like Uprooted was such a popular book and did win awards and had a great romantic setup. And then she managed to like completely I don't know, pull all of the emotion out of the romance. So this one has a romance too that was really interesting in book one. And so far in book two, it's like barely on the page. This guy is barely there at all. And it's like, I don't know if she's going somewhere with this or if she's just like avoiding romance, right? Because book one ended with a kiss, which I feel like is not spoilery because that's pretty standard, right? Um, so it's like, and now nothing. And now they're like not even spending any time together. So, but I still very much enjoy the books. Really recommend, highly enjoying. So yeah, I spent the rest of the day on Saturday just hanging out in the Grape Arbor and reading. And then Sunday morning, David wanted to go fishing again. And I kind of looked at my to do list and I was like, well, there's nothing on here that has to happen this today or this weekend. So I took him fishing again. And um, we were there for a little bit longer and then came back into town and we went to Harry's Roadhouse and had a great lunch at Harry's. And that was fun. And while I was out at the lake, the lovely Megan called me. She had a friend in town and she said, oh, that they were going out to Ojo, Santa Fe to hang out in the baths and everything. And did I want to come? Which I did, but I was already at the lake. So she said, well, ping me when you're back in town. Are you going to be there all day? And I was like, no way, it's going to be too hot. And, it was like going to be 90 by 1. So, sorry, I have something in my eye. I think it was a gnat. Uh, oh, yeah. So, compelling recitation of my weekend. So, got home and I was just about to text her when she called and she said, oh, we're on our way out to Beer Creek Brewery. We just finished. And I said, well, let me take a shower real quick and I'll meet you there. So I did that and I got to drive the back way, which is nice, through some really pretty countryside. Okay, I'm going to risk pausing. Yeah, well, I worry about pausing. You all know that. I'm just going to have to keep messing with whatever this is in my eye. Ah. All right, I'll keep talking so at least the audio is good here. Um, yeah, so went and met her and her friend, and we had a beer, and it was their anniversary out at Beer Creek Brewing. So a bunch of people were there, and they were giving out cookies. And then we went back to her house and hung out on the portal, and they've done lots and lots of work. I hadn't been there in a while, and so it was great, and just hanging out with friends. And so then I got home at like 7. And just hung out on the front porch and did some reading. So, all of this is a very long way of saying that I had a weekend of total recreation, which I almost never do. And sorry if you're squeaked out by people touching their eyes. There we go. I think I've got it handled. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how that does for me on this week. I felt like I could because the other thing that's really working for me with getting this word count flow nailed down, and part of it is probably because this book is going well and so I can't expect it to be like that every time, but I've been finishing the my word count by about 1 o'clock and still feeling pretty energetic, so I've been able to get my business things done after that, and I've been working from like 1 until 4 or 5. In fact, I've been thinking maybe I should stop at 4. If I'm starting in the morning at like 7, uh, make my days a little bit shorter if I can keep this up. So as a result, I did not have a billion business things to do on the weekend because I'm getting it done during the week. Remember how in school, like they would always say, if you got your work done in class or during student study period, then you wouldn't have to do homework at home. Uh, Although I understand that homework is like a totally controversial thing. That's kind of changed. I never had lots and lots of homework, as I recall, but In college, we did, right? We had to study. Anyway, so shifting around, trying to get things. I never really liked the term like work life balance. Uh, I know it works for some people. It doesn't really work for me, but I do like the I do like the concept of balance overall. Right? Not necessarily good and evil, but I'm not tempted. Well, occasionally tempted to become the evil queen, but not often. Um, but yeah, trying to keep things in their places, trying to uh, not let the work take over everything else. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's how things are going for me. It was funny catching up with Megan because we hadn't seen each other in about a month because we've been asynchronously traveling, and I didn't have tons of stuff to tell her. It's been a quiet month, which is good. It's been That's kind of what I need. I talked about this a lot on the Friday podcast that I need this kind of quiet. I need things to be not dramatic in order to get the words written. All the drama goes in the pages, folks. So, I don't have a lot to talk about. I haven't been thinking about things too much. I've been offline, not paying a lot of attention to any scandals and so forth. Um, One thing that was funny on Friday, somebody asked about uh, AI, about like using things like Chat GPT. So I kind of just gave Sifwa's position on it and talked a little bit about the same things I've talked on here about the ethics of it. Um, and if you are undercutting other creators in order to be successful. And this one quick group list that I'm on, one of the gals was talking about, did they want to have a conversation about uh, using AI to help with writing? And I nearly sent a little rant and then I didn't. I thought, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Everybody's got to choose for themselves. But boy, I just feel like if you're if you're a writer, I've said this many times before, there are easier ways to make a living, right? And if you want to be a writer, it's because of the personal creative challenge, right? It's like you want to tell your stories and you want to bring yourself up to that level. You want to have the ability to do this. And if you are I mean, I think it's interesting because people are like trying to make it be not a thing by calling it a tool. Oh, well, if we could use this tool. And it's like, well, no, you're cheating. Um, Melinda uh, mentioned to me about a mutual friend who apparently asked her to rewrite their screenplay. I thought they wanted to pay her to coach them and teach them. And she said that it was no, rewrite it for me. And it's like, well, why would you do that? Do you just want to jumpstart your career, and pretend that, just have your screenplay out there? I think we really have to examine why we're doing the things that we're doing. What do you hope to accomplish? A friend of mine this weekend was asking me for personal advice on dealing with the situation, like something that they want to do and feel like probably they shouldn't do in a personal relationship. And I said, well, what do you hope to accomplish? And it was kind of it was like vengeance. I want to get my own back, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's wrong, but is that really what you hope to accomplish? Is that what you want? And I think it's worth bearing in mind, right? What are we trying to accomplish? So, yeah, why be a writer if you're having someone else write things for you? Uh, I know there are people who say they're making good money that way. Um, yeah, okay. if that's all that it matters to you, and if all you want to do is to be able to say that you're a writer, um, but you will know, right, in your heart. So on that note, um, I hope you all go forth and do things from the heart. I hope you are able to um, authentically create what you want to create this week. And I will talk to you all on Friday. You all take care. Bye bye.